Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Happy Friday night. Hey everyone. Happy Friday night. Oh, hey, Daniela. That is actually Lucky Mario. Hi, Anne Marie. You made it. How are you? Hey, Monarchs and Margaritas. That's a great name. Kellum and Nicolette. I'm so excited to see everyone. Jessica. Oh my gosh. Wow. Hey, Lori Owens. I see Heidi's here and Gloria, Suzanne, Stephanie Gavin's in the house. Oh my gosh. Hey, Trisha M. Oh my gosh. I'm seeing some friends from home. I'm so excited. Thank you for tuning in. So this is my first time going live solo. So please be easy on me in the chat. I'm going to try so hard to pay attention over here. But if I miss a question that you really want me to answer, feel free to just keep asking it so that when I look over at the chat, I'll be able to say hi. So this is not Lulu Marie, this is Lucky, but I have a feeling Lulu's going to walk in. And typically I have someone here, so if I have to get up and tend to the dogs, I can do that. But tonight I will have to just leave an empty seat if I have to help the dogs. So how's everybody's Friday going? Has anybody been shopping yet? I did go today. I drove down to Rhode Island. I was hoping to connect with Daniela, but she was working. We hit different places, didn't we, Daniela? Yeah, that's true, Lori. I'm not solo. I have Lucky. He's a great co-pilot. We'll see his tongue hanging out for most of this. That would be a really good idea to have a dog door in my bedroom. That would actually be life-changing. Yes, it is Friday, April. I'm so glad you could make it. Hello, hello. Oh, hey, Lori, I was watching your video on your finding mink at the bins. You found some vintage fur, Jennifer. Yes, that is a controversial topic. I think we'll get to that later. Lucky misses you too. All right, so we have a few people in the chat here now, so I think I might dive right into the questions. It feels so odd just talking to myself. Okay, if you have questions over here, you can feel free to add them, but I took these questions off of my YouTube story, my Instagram story, and also off of my Instagram post that I did today. So I'm just going to go in. We have a doggy door. Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. Hi, Melissa, welcome. Hi, Gloria, and Tracy's here, and Carol. Thank you guys so much for coming. All right, hello from California. Natasha, what part of California are you in? So nice. Why does Poshmark not have a unisex category? That is such a good question, Suzanne. And I've often wondered that. I just posted something, it was like a sweatshirt, like something like this, I feel like is very much unisex. And then I have to pick one or the other. And as a woman, I like baggy sweatshirts and I'm like a larger size, like I'm like a 12, 14. So I just like a unisex size would be really nice, wouldn't it? Oh, Sonoma County, Natasha, nice. Somebody from Detroit, welcome, Janet and Jennifer. Susan Rodriguez is here, welcome. Hey, friend, hello, familiar face. How are you, Leslie? Thanks for stopping by. South Carolina, Paula. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh, I didn't even mean to hit that yet. Thank you though, Lori, I appreciate that. Okay. First question was, how is your adorable dog? Which is so funny. My adorable dog is right here. He's one of two. Lucky just turned 14. Lulu Marie will be 10. I'm sure we'll have a sighting of her later. They're both cockapoos. People ask me that a lot. They think that they may be Bijans. That's what they get confused. People confuse them with Bijans the most, but they are cockapoos. And they are my babies. So I have a question here. How long have you been reselling and when did you decide to go full time? That is a good question. I have really been reselling for quite a long time. I think formally I have been reselling on Poshmark since August of 2018. As many of you may know, I was on and off an associate at American Girl in Natick, Mass for on and off for 10 years. And I took like a 2-year hiatus in the middle. And during that time, that was like my first official time really putting an effort in with reselling. We had a local Salvation Army that was like about 1.5 miles from my house. And I would go every Wednesday, which was their half off day. It's like family day. And I would pick things up. But it was prior to me having any idea about the reselling community. I never followed a single reseller account on Instagram. I was only on eBay, had never even heard of Poshmark. So I did that for on and off for about 2 years, and I really did enjoy it quite a bit. And then I ended up crossing paths with one of my managers at American Girl. There was a personal shopping position available, and I missed my old stopping ground. So I kind of left reselling, went back to American Girl for a few years. And then when I kind of came to the end of my journey at American Girl, I decided to do reselling on a more serious basis. So I started Poshmark August of 2018, and then August of 2019 or September, about a year later, I decided to go full time. So it's been really wonderful. And I started my YouTube channel January of 2019. So yeah, it's been just over a year on YouTube, and I feel like YouTube is taking more and more time. And then Daniela, my friend Daniela, who is here, she is Ivy and Blush on Instagram. She just started her own YouTube channel as well. But in December, the two of us started a podcast called Thrifter's Villa. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place now. But it's been really fun. I'm so happy that I decided to do this full time. I feel like my whole life kind of led me to where I am now. I was a teacher by trade. That's what I went to college for. I went to school here in Massachusetts at a state school, Bridgewater State, as an undergrad. And then I got my master's at San Francisco State. My husband and I lived in California for a few years before I got pregnant with Anthony. And then we flew back east to have babies, and I haven't been back. And our 25th anniversary is this June, and we're planning to go back to California in October. So it will be my first time back to the West Coast in 21 years, because my oldest son just turned 21. So yeah, that is my quick reselling story and how I got started here. Let me see how we're doing over here in the chat. Gloria from Holt, Michigan, from Alabama. It is so cool to me to be able to connect with people all over this country. It actually blows my mind. And one of my goals is to go to the bins or go thrifting literally across the country. Nothing would make me happier. When we can start traveling, I had actually had plans with my friend Hope from Racks to Riches. We literally were 2 days. I mean, I think Hope had it in her cart, but we were days away from booking flights to Denver. And we just said, let's do it. We were going to go in July, and we were just going to thrift all weekend. And I was so excited. And then that was like the first week of March. And we said, maybe we should wait and see where things go with all of this. And things were really heating up. They were already pretty hot in China, and things were heating up in Italy. And then all hell broke loose, and those plans fell through. But I think it's fantastic that people are here. Melissa from Seattle, how are you? Homesick for Cali, Army wife. Where did you live in California? I'm from Riverside County, Southern Cal. I lived in San Francisco. So it was 1996 when we moved out there. I was teaching in Connecticut, and my husband and I are both from Central Mass. And we went on our honeymoon in California. We rented a convertible, and we drove over the Hoover Dam when you could do that. So we went to Vegas. We went down to the Mexico border, and we crossed over into Tijuana. We went to San Diego, San Francisco. We have family who lives in Carmichael. So we were out in Northern California. Where was I going with that? Oh, so we loved California so much that we moved home, lived in Connecticut because we both got jobs there. I got my first teaching job in special ed, and my husband worked in downtown Hartford. And then we were kind of debating what we wanted to do next on our journey. And we both decided that we were very young. We got married. I got married a month out of college. So we were super young and we dated in high school and then we broke up for 3 years, got back together and all that stuff. And we said, let's do something fun. Like we're so young and what do we have to lose? So I literally gave my notice. I was teaching in Connecticut and I said, I think we're moving to California. We really didn't have a plan. And so we started the interview process and Jay was able to transfer. And then I flew out and interviewed and I got a job in San Mateo County and I worked for the county in Pacifica. And I worked with kids with severe behavioral needs, and I absolutely loved it. I had a very small class, and I had 2 instructional assistants, but it was pretty heavy duty. And I got pregnant while I was in California, and then we moved home. So we were in San Francisco, like on the corner, in Nob Hill first, on the corner of Clay and Leavenworth. And then we moved out closer to San Francisco State University when I was getting my master's. So we had 2 addresses out there. And then we flew home 6 weeks before Anthony was born. And the rest is history. We've been in Massachusetts ever since. Hi, Lisette. Thanks for joining us. Danny, y'all should come to Austin to go thrifting. That is kind of on my list. I have a friend in Texas who keeps inviting me, and I think I'm going to go. Trisha, I'm from Colorado. Would love some thrifting friends to go to Denver. Denver is like the big mystery place. Everybody talks about Denver. I feel like I would be disappointed. I want to go. I'm going to thrift in Denver, but I feel like when I go to Denver, unless I stay like from sun up till sundown and like get those like crazy things that Street Savvy gets, I feel like I'll be disappointed, but I have to do it. I have to get it out of my system. All right. Try the Salt Lake bins. Oh, we had some guys sleeping in one yesterday. Are you kidding me? You're kidding me. Wait a second. I need to bring this one up there. All right, Jennifer, you need to go into a little bit more detail. I've heard a lot of stories about the bins, but this one is really new, and that is so funny. You never know what you're going to get at the bins. I always think it's hysterical, though, if you haven't been to the bins and you just hear so many people talk about the bins. You never know what you're going to see there, but I really miss the bins. And somebody had private messaged me, and they had heard that the New Hampshire bins opened today. And I was this close to going, but instead, I went to Rhode Island. And then I heard that the bins in New Hampshire weren't open yet. So it's probably good I didn't go there. I feel like I should wait a little longer for the bins, but I really do miss it. Mass people, we got to do a meet and greet as soon as we can, Anne Marie. I would love that. We have not had a meet and greet since Leslie Tucker was up here. Thank God for Leslie. Leslie, who lives in Delaware, she is a reseller's passion. It's ironic, but she is the reason I met Lisette. I met Daniela. I met so many people in the New England area because of Leslie, who's not even from New England. That is the fabulous thing about Leslie. She brings people together no matter where she is. Hey, just came from Quenby's live. Hello, thanks for being here. I love Quenby. Honestly, if you guys don't follow Quenby, the Grateful Queen on YouTube, I watch her. Oh, hey, Jacob Fufu. I saw you also over at Quenby's. Thanks for being here. Hello. Where am I? So yes, Quenby, you can tell she's like a therapist because she runs her lives so professional. Like, I feel like she doesn't miss a comment. She's so good. She knows everybody's names. I want to be Quenby one of these days when I do my lives because I'm not as good as her. She's so good. Okay, should we do another question? Did I miss anyone? So again, if I missed a question, just do it like right now so that I'll see it. You've never heard of Quenby? Oh, you'll have to check her out. She's such a love. The Grateful Queen. Quenby is her real name, the Grateful Queen. And I think she's Grateful Queen B on Instagram. I'm not sure, but I think she's just the Grateful Queen on YouTube. She's a sweetheart. Okay. Want to do Austin and Dallas? Yes, I do want to do Austin and Dallas. My friend Marcy, who I met through Instagram, has invited me down there, and I'm going to take her up one of these days. I have never been to Texas. I am such a northerner. I feel like alarms would go off once if I go to Texas. I feel like I will stand out like a sore thumb. I should probably leave my Boston sweatshirt at home. Lori, Seattle gal style. Retail still closed where I am in Washington State, but I heard my bins are selling giant pallets of stuff via pickup. That would be fascinating. Can you imagine just a big pallet from the bins? I don't know how I feel about that. I guess for the right price, it could be really fun, right? I've definitely had a little pallet envy during this whole quarantine, seeing like my friends like Denali or Mogi Beth or Voyages of Verb, like all these people getting pallets. And I think about it, but I feel like I am just slow. I feel like I move slowly. I don't know that I would be able to process that much. I don't think I have enough hustle in me. I think I'm getting old. I keep begging my kids to work for me, and they don't want to work for me because I need like like somebody to help me process and photograph so that I can order those pallets because they look like a lot of fun. Okay. Yes, I heard the bins in Connecticut opened on Thursday. In fact, I had tentative plans to go with somebody that fell through. So I don't think I'm meant to go to the bins just yet. I did do a little bit of shopping today. I found I went to Salvation Army and to Savers, and nothing great. But I did. Do you guys who still picks up triangle bikinis? These were like the $70 Australian made bikinis that were so huge. Like my daughter would have given anything to have one of these like 3 or 4 years ago. I find them all the time. I have 100% sell-through rate on them. They're always good for like $20, $25. I picked that up today. I have a few things that I'll show you as we talk. Okay, I'm gonna get to another question here. I loved this question. I think this was from Heidi. Who is your biggest fan in real life? The person who roots for you and believes in you. This one made me emotional. I love it. I have a lot of really incredible people in my corner, but this has to be Jay, my husband. Oh my God. I pale in comparison to him when it comes to motivation and discipline and hard work ethic. He is crazy. He's solid. He's a rock. And he's just always really encouraged me. I think because I was more or less a stay-at-home mom I always had part-time jobs. I sold creative memory scrapbooks for years. I was a teacher for a short time. Then I was a substitute teacher. I worked at American Girl, but I never had like a career once we left California and I left teaching. And so I always had these like part-time jobs that were paying, between $15 and $20 an hour on a good day, sometimes less. But Jay would always say to me, you're working part-time and you're making, an hourly wage. You could really do anything and replace that income. It's not like you're replacing a big salary. So what do you want to do? Like, what makes you happy? And honestly, I sold Mary Kay. I have so much inventory. Like that was actually my first huge sale. We were living in California, moving home. I was pregnant with Anthony, since I already touched on that. And I had all this Mary Kay cosmetics that I had sold while I was in California. And I didn't think that I was going to do it once I got home because I was having a baby and we were buying a house. So Jay, we signed on to eBay for the first time and we sold all of my Mary Kay cosmetics for like $450. And literally like we had to like wait for a check, and the check had to clear before we sent out the cosmetics. And it was one big bulk order and we sold it all. And that was really my very first experience selling online. And it was because of Jay. But yeah, that was my big thing. So yeah, he always encouraged me. And, he knows me very well. So he would just say, try not to like build up your inventory. Why don't you just try your best to just, only spend what you can sell. And he's very business minded, but yeah, he's always been a big fan. He jokes and he says he's going to retire, with my YouTube money. And I laugh and I say, we will be poor and we will be living on the street if you hold out for my YouTube checks. But anyways, it's nice that he believes in me. How are we doing over here? Thank you. New England friends are the best. Aw, people in New England are pretty solid. Very loyal people here. Sometimes rough around the edges, but they'd fight tooth and nail for you when you're from this area, I have to say. Are you married to my hubby's twin, Lori? Mine is exactly the same way. My job history too. Oh, we are so lucky. Yes, it's really nice when you have a lot of support. In fact, I feel sad sometimes. I see people on social media who don't get the support, or maybe they're young and their parents don't believe in them, or believe that reselling is really like a viable career. And I don't know. We were just talking about Denali in Quenby's live, and how much she hustles, and like there's Denali full time, and then there's like Lori full time. Like I am full time, but I don't think I have quite the hustle. I do have some questions about eBay. I have been listing more over on eBay. But yeah, I feel like if you are willing to work hard, I really think that this is like it's such a great fit for me, because I love the teaching aspect of it. That's what I was trained in. So I think that's why YouTube is kind of a natural fit for me. I love the rush of like the flip. And I think most of all, I just love the hunt. I also think that's one of the reasons I'm not big into like pallets and stuff, because I love the hunt. But then, like I went thrifting today and the hunt wasn't so great. And you get a little like, sometimes I think as you get further along in your reselling career and you get more specific about the things you want, and the things that sell and the things that don't, I can go through things faster now. But then I'm also passing on a lot more now, so it doesn't make it quite as fun as it was, say, a year ago when I was still learning so much. But I'm always learning, so that really never, ever ends. I say I work full time, but I have a part-time income because I'm a very soft boss. I can relate to that for sure. Yeah, if I need a little time off, I give it to myself. But I do have, does anybody in the chat, let me know how you are with work-life balance, because as supportive as Jay is, and he like could not be more supportive, I am terrible with work-life balance. I don't think that I ever really had like a real job like this through all these years. And I just can't shut it off. I mean, I'm in bed with my phone, like sending offers at 12:30 at night, or like checking comments. And Jay has always been, we call it Tata time. Our last name is Tata, like Tata, Tata. And at work, they would joke with Jay and call it Tata time, because like when his day's over, it's over, man. And he walks out the door and he doesn't think about stuff. He does not bring work home with him. I don't know how he does it, because he has a big job, and he just is able to shut it down. I think he's super efficient, and I think that's the key. I think if you are good with boundaries, which I am not, but if you're good with boundaries and you can shut things down, it makes it easier. But I'm terrible with work-life balance, terrible. But I love what I do, so I don't know. Okay. What is work-life balance? Asking for a friend. Daniela, you're bad. Daniela is so bad. Daniela works full-time. Where are my full-time people at? Because I don't know how you do it. And I know there are a lot of you here. I also think, I always say this: if you want something done, give it to the busiest person in the room, because I feel like when you're a busy person, you just know how to budget your time. And I know that in quarantine, I have actually become a little less efficient, because I wake up and I think I have all day. And then before I know it, it's like Groundhog's Day, and I'm like putting my plaid pants on that I like live in. Every day I'm just putting my plaid pants on, getting ready to go to bed. So yeah, I think when you're busy, you're better about staying on top of things. I'm horrible with work-life balance, but it seems more acceptable for me if I'm working for you. Honestly, I think all the time, because you're saying you're single, so you can take advantage of that. I think all the time, if I did not have my family to like be a clock for me and be like, oh, I have to wake up and make breakfast for those kids, or well, not these days, they sleep till noon, but like during the school year, or oh, I feel so bad, Jay went to bed, I really should go to bed. Like if I didn't have that, if I was alone, I would be so terrible. Like I would not go to bed. I would probably sleep until noon and be up until 4 a.m. every night. Full-time people here. Look at all these full-time people. I want to give you guys a shout out, because I know even when you're working full-time, and a full-time nurse, Amy, thank you. And when you're full-time and you say that you're part-time reselling, but I know it's way more than part-time. Everybody I know, whether you think it is or not. When my husband's home, I put away my phone and give him attention. Aw, that's so good. I know. I'm not going to let Jay see that comment. Okay, I want to sell on eBay, but I'm so confused on the shipping cost part, what boxes to use, etc. Anyone have suggestions on eBay shipping 101 videos or blog posts? I have not done an eBay video yet, so please, in the comments, if you know somebody who's really good at eBay 101, my quick, sorry, wait a second. My quick 2 cents on that is if it's under a pound, 16 ounces or less, or so 15 ounces or less, I will always click on first class. And that is much less expensive to ship first class. The only thing you have to be careful about is you can't use any priority mailing envelopes because you'll get flagged. You can't ship first class in a priority envelope. And then anything over a pound, I weigh. And I tend to do my shipping a little less on eBay than I do on Poshmark. So if Poshmark shipping is $7.10 and I have, like, say this bathing suit, well, the bathing suit I would charge even less for, but just say like a regular shirt that on Poshmark would be $7.10. I might mark it for $5.99. You can set what you want. I usually do a flat rate. You can do calculated shipping if you're just starting out. So you give yourself some wiggle room so you don't underestimate how much shipping will cost and then lose money on shipping. Shipping can be tricky. So I'm just wondering if anybody in the comments knows somebody. Okay, Mogi Beth, that makes sense. Perfect. Mogi has some great videos out. So that's perfect. So you can go check out Mogi's video, and that's something I should keep in mind. I need to start doing more on Susan Wells, I think, has a good shipping video. Been a long time since I watched it, though. Oh, thank you, Thrift Addict. I don't know Susan Wells. I've never seen her videos. So that's good. Oh, Anne Marie is saying, oh, get a scale. Yes, scale is huge. I should have said that right away. I do have a scale. It costs $20. It's linked in my Amazon store. But it was the best $20 I ever spent. I use it all the time, and it really helps gauge. Once you start using your scale more and more, I think you'll have a better understanding of like what things weigh, and you'll be able to eyeball things. But beware of like boots, heavy sneakers, heavy sweaters, jackets. Those can add up pretty quickly. And if you're doing both, I tend to list a lot of heavy stuff on Poshmark because we have up to the 5-pound limit with the $7.10 shipping. So it can actually be a bargain for people if you have something that's really heavy. And then I like to list a lot of like my jewelry or scarves or anything light like that on eBay, and then offer lower rates for shipping. Okay, I want to understand. Oh, this question, somebody asked me this. I want to understand pricing strategy when cross-posting with shipping and seller fees being so different. I'm also full-time selling part-time. All right, this is a loaded question. There's a lot of information to give on this one. So pricing strategy when cross-posting. So the way that I do my listing is I do all of my first listings on Poshmark. This has been my practice for a while. And then I do use Vendu, which is a cross-posting service. And then I will cross-post to eBay. I don't sell on Mercari yet, although I know it is like all the rage right now. So I'm thinking about it, but I'm trying to like kind of really dig into eBay right now. So what I usually do is I don't really change my prices. And I mentioned this recently. Some people do change their prices. Like some people think that Poshmark gets more money than eBay, but that really has not been my experience. In fact, I feel like I have more straightforward buyers on eBay personally. And I've talked to friends that say, no, the lowball offers come in on both ends. And not that I haven't received lowball offers on eBay, but I tend to sell higher priced items over there too, maybe bigger audience, international, I don't know. The only thing that I change as far as like a strategy is if I have something listed for $50 on Poshmark, when I cross post it to eBay, I'll make it $49.99. Because you can, and Poshmark doesn't give you cents. You have to just round to the nearest dollar. So, mentally the $19.99 or the $49.99, I'll always do that when I'm cross posting to eBay. But as far as shipping goes, I really look at it item by item. And if it's a heavy item, then I might bump my shipping up a little bit. And if it's a lighter item, I will pull it back a little bit. I rarely offer free shipping unless it's a really high ticket item that is also light and easy to ship. So maybe, if I have a high end purse that I have priced over $120, $150, maybe I'll offer free shipping. I don't know, but I typically don't. Sometimes I think even if I just put shipping at $4.99, I will recoup a little bit. And so I would say 10% of my listings, if that, are free shipping on eBay. What do people in the comments think? Tracy. Yes. Oh my gosh. Tracy, if you watched any of my stuff in November, December, I think I had 3 or 4 consecutive returns on eBay. And I kind of swore it off through the holidays. I was so discouraged. And as you know, eBay pretty much takes back 100% of the returns. And I have turned on that I don't accept returns. But really, that is, I guess maybe it's a deterrent for people who don't want to shop with you if you don't accept returns. However, you still have to return things. There was one case that I won on eBay with a gentleman who, it was over a Tommy Bahama shirt that I picked up at the bins, and it was like a 4X, and he said it didn't, that the sizing was wrong. And he protests like it. And then if eBay declines their request for a return, so if eBay sides with the seller, which is very rare, but if they do, the buyer can then appeal to PayPal and try to stop payment on PayPal, which is like another level. And this guy went to PayPal when eBay didn't accept his return request. And then PayPal also ruled in my favor. But that was the only one that went in my favor. And then all the other returns went in the other direction. So it was really discouraging. But I will say, just keep on keeping on. I've been really good about listing. Somebody, I think it was Lori Owens, asked how I was doing with eBay in the questions. And I will say that I am slow and steady. I have been listing 2 to 3 items pretty consistently with Vendu. I think I was like at 60-ish items and I'm up to 88. So I'm not like winning any prizes here, but I am slowly doing it. And I sold a pair of Peloton. I have some credits from Peloton apparel because I recently got a Peloton and I put my referral link out there. And so when somebody purchases a Peloton, you get $100 credit in apparel only. So it's not good for sneakers or weights or anything related to the bike, just their gear. And there's only so many Peloton sweatshirts I need. So my Peloton stuff has been selling pretty well. And I listed a pair of men's Lululemon Peloton shorts for $68. And that was that's their retail price. And they sold in a day on eBay. I got a $55 offer and accepted $50 or $55. Do list fixed price. I do fixed price. I just have to close my door 1 second. I won't be a second. I 99.9% of the time do fixed price. I think what a lot of people, when people use the auction feature, I think for, if you're really just trying to move something. So I see auctions for 2 reasons. One is you have an item that if you set your starting bid at, like say you want to sell a sweater that you've had in your inventory for a year and you just want to get rid of it. You may start your starting bid at like $5.99 and put it on auction. And then if you get 1 bid, then you sell it. So you're like, okay, great, that's going to move. But you're not really concerned about the high item. You're just really looking to move product. And then other times I see auction is when you have a really hot ticket item and you can maybe start a bidding war on something that's super popular. And then people will put things on auction and then in hopes that things will bid up. I feel like auction was eBay a while ago. There's still a ton of auctions, but I seem to see a lot more buy it now. I do buy it now. So I'm just going to go through and see what people say here. I put best offer on all my eBay listings so I can offer. Yep, I do the same. Made to me price the same as Posh minus a few cents. Okay. I accept returns, not a problem for me. Beth, I'm at the point where maybe I feel like I should just accept returns because I don't know. They're going to come back anyways if people don't want them. Do you find that your returns go up or do you have like a higher return rate? Did you ever not accept returns and you see an increase? I'm curious. Oh, I missed that. Sometimes I charge lower on eBay, Jessica says. Okay. I think it depends on the item. I feel like there are items that sell, okay, we already addressed that. I can understand what's so strange. Let me see. Oh, this was another question that came up. How do you give good feedback to buyers? I am so bad. Actually, this is the question that was asked to me, Gloria, and I don't know if you asked, you were the person who asked earlier. Twilifay said, if you have time, would you like, I would like to know how you handle feedback on eBay, either lack of it or how to encourage it. Thank you. And I'm actually embarrassed because I am so bad about feedback. I personally never look to see if people gave me feedback. So I assume it's okay unless it's bad. But I give feedback when like it prompts me, when I go into my seller hub and it says, would you like to leave feedback for this person? And I'm like, oh yeah, of course I would. So they prompt you. So I don't know how to encourage a buyer. I suppose you can go in and talk to your buyer just as if you would on Poshmark. I am much more communicative on Poshmark. Like I chat with my buyers all the time on Poshmark. And for whatever reason, I kind of leave this wall up a little bit on eBay. I'm a lot more distant on eBay, but I imagine you can just go in and ask people. So I don't know how to encourage it. What do you people think about that? Some people saying I don't solicit feedback. Yeah, I personally don't. Yeah, I guess it could be perceived as a little bit pushy potentially. If you're like, oh, I would really appreciate it if you left me feedback. I feel like the best thing is to just give feedback if you had a great experience or, you know, not a bad one. And then I think it's almost like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. If somebody gives me good feedback, I'm going to give them good feedback. I haven't received any bad feedback. So in recently, what's it say? TRS badge and to avoid false. Okay, this is like above my pay grade. I don't know what a TRS badge is. I know an INAD is item not as described. But anyways, I know, Daniela, I'm with you. I feel like I should be in the comments right here because I'm not sure how much I am contributing here. I feel like it's ironic that I've been on eBay for so long, yet there's still so much I need to learn. I accept returns. My return rate is low, but I do feel like they all come at the same time. And then I'll go 3 to 4 months without returns. I think, Deborah, that's what I experienced around Christmas time, where I got buried with them and I was so discouraged. And then I was really turned off from eBay for a while. And now, knock on wood, I've had a bit of a good streak. And so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that things continue that way. I promise everybody that I will get better about eBay. I'm like really taking baby steps right now, but I can see that there is a real need for information on eBay out there. And I need to educate myself better. I'm in the process of getting a subscription back. I am going to the basic subscription, which is $21 and change per month, because I was finding that without a store subscription, my fees were higher. I talked about this in my live with Denali, but my fees were higher, and I was actually paying what a store subscription would be, or very close to it, without any of the perks of having a store. So there's a starter store, I believe that's like $4.95 if you pay for the year, and then $6.95 per month if you pay by the month. I think that's the breakdown. But I opted to go to the next level up because I'm planning to just have more items on eBay. I would ideally like to have between like 300 and 500 items on eBay. I don't know that I would go higher than that. I have over 1,000 on Poshmark, 1,200. But what's beautiful right now is because I have so many items listed on Poshmark, it's just so easy for me to sit down every night and cross-post a Vendu. Like all the work has been done. And really that was my deciding factor to make the switch, to finally just buckle down. I really take a lot of pride in the items that I purchase, and then I steam or I wash everything, and I try to do my best with photographs. I do a good job with packaging. I communicate with my buyers. I take measurements. I include fabric content like the best I can. And then you list it, and you take the trouble to list it. And then I do all of this work, and then I don't list it on eBay, or I didn't list it on eBay. And it seems crazy to me because it's almost like running a marathon and you're at 26 miles and you have point 0.2 to finish your marathon. And I just stop and I only list them on Poshmark. And then I sit there and share like a crazy person. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Cross posting is just, now that there are so many services out, I even think 6 months ago it was different, but now there are so many services that are available between List Perfectly and Vendoo, and I know there are other ones out there, that it's made it really easy for the reseller to be on multiple platforms. And now with the copy feature on Poshmark, which is incredible. I'm sure most of you in the chat know about it, but do let me know if you don't and I can explain it. But the copy feature that's now available on Poshmark makes relisting an absolute breeze. I mean, relisting on Poshmark used to really be a pain, and now it couldn't be any simpler. So I feel like it's a great opportunity for all of us to just freshen up our closets and like maybe update our cover photos or make our descriptions a little bit more solid and and all that sort of thing. So I really think that the tools that are out there for us now in 2020, even if you compare it to 6 months or a year ago, like they're just so impressive. Okay, we're talking about alcohol, I see here. Just a seltzer. I have my High Noon and I've been so chatty. All right, my college student introduced me to these High Noons. Have anybody had this? They're vodka and they're not like seltzer. It's vodka and soda. This is watermelon and it's so good. So good. This is a good question. I do not, Trisha. Maybe some people do. I'm sure some people do. The question is, do you weigh your items before you cross list to eBay? Do you calculate the shipping? I eyeball it. If it's a blouse, I'm like, well, that I'm sure is under a pound. I usually always put in first class so that if it is under a pound, I can do first class. And then if it's over a pound, you know, I upgrade someone with priority, but I don't like to put priority if there's a chance it's going to be under a pound and I can ship it first class. Does that make sense? So I don't weigh, I estimate, but I do like, I think they ask you to put a weight in. So I honestly just estimate it, and I don't do calculated shipping. I do flat rate shipping and I give my best estimate. And what I have found is that it tends to even out. You know, I shipped something out yesterday. I also use pirate shipping for I have my own website, lauriesbostonfound.com, and my shipping over there is pretty reasonable. I think it's $4.90. It's like a flat fee to ship. But I use pirate shipping over there. So sometimes depending on the weight, like I think I shipped a bathing suit top that cost me $3.33, but my buyer paid $4.90. So I made a little money on that shipment. But then you'll always have the opposite, like, you know, I'll put $4.99 for shipping, and then something will actually cost me like $7.25. Like a padded flat rate envelope is always a safe bet too, if you just want to put that price, if you're going to use a padded flat rate, if you're going to ship priority. So the padded flat rate is a rate that is good to know, because if you know you can fit it in a padded flat rate envelope, you can use that rate a lot. Yes, weigh them, Beth is saying. Lori, take photos in both platforms and save as drafts, then list on eBay, then cut and paste everything to Poshmark. Description posting takes literally a minute. You know, Emery, a lot of people have told me to do that. In fact, I've talked to the guy at Vendoo, and he, one of the creators said to me, why don't you just do it as a draft in Vendoo? Because then it's all saved there, and you can blast it out to all the different platforms. And a lot of people do their drafts in eBay because eBay requires more information, so that when you cross post to Poshmark, it's like you're not even adding any information. It's just so fast. I'm doing the reverse. I don't know. It's like old habits die hard. I think just because I've always done everything on Poshmark, This is something that I'm going to have to force myself to think outside the box a little bit, because traditionally I just list on Poshmark and then cross post. But it does seem like more of an efficient system to do it in the reverse. Either do your draft on Vendu and blast it out to all the different platforms, or at least do your draft in eBay, because they require more information, and then cross post to Poshmark because it's simple. Everybody has their own little way, right? What's this? Oh, standard shipping. Not sure if that's the best move, but it allows me to choose the shipping method upon sale. I don't even think I've noticed the standard shipping. I usually either just do priority, or I do first class. That's really interesting. Who doesn't? Look at this guy. He's like the ear. Say hi, Lucky. Just woke him up. He's mad at me. He is so old, man. He doesn't even, we come in the house now and he doesn't even open his eyes. Or we'll go downstairs in the morning and they usually follow us down. And if we have the fan on up here and he's just in his zone, sometimes he doesn't come downstairs until like 9, 10 o'clock. He's so old, my baby. Oh, see, a lot of people do their drafts in Vendu. I have a checklist I made for myself when I cross post. I hit list on Vendu, then I go to eBay listing, hit edit, and bam, quickly add. See, everybody has really great systems put in place. I'm impressed. I've started drafting on Vendu. I really like it. All right, so if we are Vendu users here, then maybe we should start doing the drafts there. That seems to be the preferred route if you get used to it. The more people I talk to who do their drafts in Vendu, yeah, it's great. I should put all my links here too. I know I have an affiliate link for Vendu if anybody's interested. I think it's 25% off your first month. I'm not sure what it is, but once I do the show notes and I transfer all the information over to YouTube, I'll put it in my description if anybody has questions. Remember when I was alarmed when you listed your unlisted inventory, it wasn't touching each other? Oh, yes. Okay, so she is referring to a time when I was showing things in my basement on a rack, and I was like, well, these are listed, and these I think I did drafts for, and these are unlisted. And I think all of my OCD friends, like, their skin was crawling when they watched my disorganization. I'm getting so much better with that. But yeah, now you can worry about my weighing items. Maybe I shouldn't be doing lives and giving any sort of advice. All right, perhaps we should move on from eBay, since clearly I'm not an expert on it. This is what's so great though, because I'm learning so much from people in the chat. So thank you everybody for your contributions. Oh, we have a List Perfectly person here too, Melissa, and I know Daniela is List Perfectly. I use Pirate Ship a lot for Mercari. I freaking love Pirate Ship. They are so good. And I love their marketing, how they're like, matey, are you ready to ship? Like, they're funny. I love that platform. Okay, I have a question here. Do you like podcasting or YouTube better? That's a fun question. And it's almost like apples and oranges, truthfully, because I definitely like podcasting better because in the sense that on days where I don't want to put on makeup or, get dressed or put a bra on, podcasting is great because Daniela calls me and, if you saw what I looked like during my podcast, you would be alarmed. But so that aspect is really nice. But I feel like YouTube is my home. I feel like this is where I started, so I'm very comfortable on YouTube. But YouTube is monumentally more time consuming. Daniela is my partner on Thrifters Villa, and she is a great partner, and she does the lion's share. She does like the outlines for our discussions, and she has been awesome about connecting with all of our sponsors. And then I will record the sponsorships. I'll record the ads. I had to do some today. We were joking because we have somebody who keeps giving me edits, and it's been a struggle. But anyways, they're two different things. What I find that's really interesting, I mentioned this somewhere recently, is the demographics are very different for me on my podcast versus YouTube. So it's actually an older crowd who watches me on YouTube. So I think my my main target demographic, I mean, it's women on both platforms. However, on YouTube, I think we're like 40 to 50 major. I mean, it's like the 40 to 50 is the highest. And then like the two bars on either side. So 30 to 40 and then 50 to 60 are right next to it. But that is my, that's the age group that watches me most on YouTube. But then on the podcast, it's about 10 years younger. So I think that's pretty neat because I do think maybe the younger generation is just more in tune with podcasts or just part of their daily life. Like I didn't really start listening to podcasts until I started doing a podcast. And actually, I just messaged Leslie from A Reseller's Passion because she's been doing more of her YouTube. She's been putting more content on YouTube, and I learned about Leslie through her podcast. Even though she always had a YouTube channel, she wasn't doing as much on it until recently. But anyways, I said to her, it's really interesting because I find I'm tuning in more now that you're doing more on YouTube, because I think I am more of a YouTube person, where I think if you were to ask Daniela, Daniela listens to all the crime podcasts, and there are people who are podcast people. So they're very different things, and I feel very fortunate to be part of both arenas, but they're super different, and I love them both. I feel lucky to be on both platforms. And I don't know if April is still here, but April has a podcast as well. I think it's called The Reseller's Voice. I'm not sure if she's still here, but she is a local friend who lives in one town over from me, which is pretty exciting. See, this is Daniela. I listen to podcasts all day long. Yep. Jennifer, you're my demographic. Aw, thank you, Lisette. That's so sweet. And I love that it's nice to have somebody to bounce something off for the podcast. So that's really fun because I think Daniela and I have a very different approach to our businesses, and it's really fun. And I think it's probably more fun for our listeners to hear 2 points of view instead of just me on YouTube. I mean, you can always click off of me on YouTube and go watch somebody else, but it's really fun to have 2 opinions and 2 different, we live in different states and we have different home arrangements, and it's just, I don't know, it's really fun. It's fun to have the different points of view. I always say that our podcast is like the view for reselling, 2 different people at the kitchen table, and we have guests on sometimes, so we add to that flavor. It's a lot of fun. What was this question? Can you use the cross-posting service to get caught up and then stop using it? Do the posts get pulled down? I think you can afford. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think you can go month to month with it. And I think you can also purchase a certain amount of listings. So it's like a tiered hierarchy on Vendu. And I think you can even get a la carte. I remember somebody saying that, you can opt to get the option to delist and relist. That's a little add-on per month. Does anybody know if you have to sign up for a year or if you can just use it? That's a really good point. That could just get you over the hump, and you could really go gangbusters and use all of your listings available to you in a shorter term and then just kind of be done with it. I feel like you should be able to do that, but I'm not positive. List Perfectly doesn't have an item limit. I think Vendu has a non-item limit option, but I'm not sure what it is. I like podcasts because I can be photographing, listing, etc. at the same time without getting distracted by comments. Yes, I do love it for that. Although I have to say, I'm such a YouTube person. I probably shouldn't even admit this, but I was driving home from Rhode Island today, and I can't even listen to the radio anymore, if I'm in the car for a long time. And for whatever reason, I didn't have a podcast loaded up, and my phone doesn't load podcasts when I'm in the car. And it's not a Wi-Fi thing. It's a glitch on my phone. But anyway, so I decided to listen to Posh Boss Blake because he does lunch with me on Friday, and I love Blake. He's a friend of mine. So I put it on my phone, and I kind of I don't look at him, but I listen to him, but it's YouTube. So it's essentially like a podcast, but it's YouTube. I'm so old school. I don't know. That's what I do. Um, hey, I'm another 1973 baby, and I'm more YouTube, but just getting more into podcasts. See, so this was the year I was born as well. I was born in 1973. So yes, I am more of a YouTube person. And what's funny about that, the fact that you say you're a YouTube person and it makes you sound a little bit older is comical. Here's Lulu. Because I can remember my son Anthony, probably 5 or 6 years ago, was obsessed with Casey Neistat. Does anybody know who Casey Neistat is? And I remember saying to him, come downstairs, we're watching Modern Family. Like, why don't you ever watch shows with us? And he's like, Mom, I don't watch television. I was like, Anthony, everybody watches television. What do you mean you don't watch television? He's like, I have no interest in these shows. Like he had his guys, like he listened to Casey Neistat and he had all the people who he watched. And at the time, Angie was young. It was like Bethany Moda, like 5 years ago, was like big for the preteen girls. And now I just couldn't relate. I remember thinking, he's so weird. What do you mean you watch YouTube? And now here I am. I don't know. Life is funny. I just would have never expected this. Where are we here? We look forward to listening to your podcast. Oh, thank you. Yes, it's Thrifter's Villa. We release a new episode every Monday. Podcaster in the car, ride, work, home, 1978. You're just a baby, 5 years younger. All right, I'm going to answer another question. Here we go. I have to close my door again because Lulu just opened it. See, I told everyone to wear their comfy pants tonight because I knew I'd be wearing mine. All right, so my kids wrote questions in, and someone wrote, who is your favorite kid? I think Rocco wrote that. And it really depends on the day. I'll tell you, it depends on the day. Where is your favorite place to thrift? This is a tough one. I think if I had to choose, as much as I love the bands, I always say that my car is kind of on autopilot to our local Savers. There's a Savers that is 12 minutes from my house. And I know the staff there, and it's just like a predictable environment for me, and it's clean, and I can just zone out there. Like I feel like I know the store so well. I know that I don't usually find good jeans there. I know that I find a lot of Lululemon there. I know that the shoes are usually pretty great. I know that they mark up certain brands, like I just know the store so well. And I love it. So that is probably that's what I miss the most. Like I traveled to New Hampshire last week to thrift at their Savers, and I actually took pictures of the prices. So it's honestly just crazy how expensive Savers is getting. And I guess it remains to be seen if my store here in Massachusetts will also hike up their prices. But I found it really discouraging. And I felt the same way today when I was shopping in Rhode Island. Just the prices on certain things are just crazy. I took pictures of, American Eagle, right? Many people don't even pick up American Eagle, but the Soft and Sexy line, their t-shirts, they had a Soft and Sexy t-shirt from American Eagle for $9.49 at Target. $9.49, a t-shirt from American Eagle. They had like a J. Crew dress from like 2002, $18.99. I'm like, today in Rhode Island, there was a pair of Fabletics bikini bottoms. So they were new with tag, but they were marked like $15.99. Like I don't even know what to make of it. I'm actually like walking through the store and thinking to myself, like, I may have to come up with like a plan B for sourcing if this is the way. And every article you read right now is how secondhand fashion is just like the growth that secondhand fashion, the speed that we're growing is insanity, and every day it's like another brick and mortar store filing bankruptcy. I think Denali posted today that Nordstrom sales were down like 40%, and like the retail locations are just getting slammed. So I don't know if because of that, all the thrift stores, every time I go, there's more and more cars in the parking lot, and it's wonderful to see so many people shopping secondhand. But I also think that they know that there are resellers there. They're not there to pay our mortgage. So I think that they're probably, I don't know. Yeah, somebody just asked about the 20% coupon. How do you always get a 20%? I literally keep stuff in my trunk. So at Savers, if you donate something, they give you a 20% off coupon and they give you like a tax write-off slip. So I'm not like, I get mad, anxious, upset, you name it, if I am at Savers without a 20% coupon. Like I find it hard to even shop. So my dad was cleaning out his basement and he gave me a tripod last week, and not last week, probably last month. And it's been in my trunk and I keep meaning to bring it in and see if I can use it. But then in the meantime, I had ordered one off of Amazon that's much lighter weight and I know it fits my camera. So realistically, I'm probably never going to use that tripod my dad gave me. So I was at Savers today and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have a coupon. I cannot go in there without a coupon. So I said to the guy, I only have one item. Big smile on my face. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. You can't hand it to them physically. You have to like place it in the bin. He's like, just place it in the bin and I'll give you a coupon. So I literally just pop my trunk. So that's what I do. I always keep stuff in my trunk because you can't do it. And Savers also announced that they're not going to do their traditional Monday sales. Like they always have a huge Memorial Day sale, Labor Day, Veterans Day, and a lot of random Mondays, they'll do 50% off. But the store gets so packed that because of social distancing, they don't want crowds at the store. They can't even be at full capacity, let alone like the crazy crowds that they have for the sale. So they're not doing their 50% off sale. So that kind of stinks because I used to always look forward to those. And with it being so close to me, I would just show up and shop. And there's always like a pre-sale for Savers members. So yeah. I love locally owned thrift stores. Yes, I agree, Jessica. I agree. I love those mom and pop shops. Plus, honestly, I feel like with those shops, even if the price is a little more, I don't mind paying it because I feel like, it's just a local shop. I don't know. I just feel better about those. Let me see here. Sadly, folks here don't buy and donate any Reformation, Lululemon, or Burberry. I've never found Reformation. Fun fact. I have found Burberry and Lululemon, but no Reformation. That is a brand I have yet to find. It's on my list. How am I doing over here? I'm sorry if I've missed you in the chat. I'm so happy to see people talking over here. Yes. Where was this? Picking, painting, and other stuff. I found a Lily Pulitzer dress with a stain marked for $30. Was that at Savers? Because I wouldn't be surprised. It makes me so sad, but what are you going to do? Honey Hole in my hometown charges $10 to fill your cart. Sometimes I have, oh my goodness. Anne-Marie, aren't you in Massachusetts? You need to DM me. I want that Honey Hole. Oh my gosh, $10. I was, somebody messaged me today about a fill-a-bag. Oh no, it was on my, post. Oh, it was on my video post from what sold for over $100, which was my last video that I posted on Wednesday. And so I asked people to write in the comments, like, tell me your best flip. And somebody was talking about how they got 3 Hermes ties that were in a fill-a-bag that they paid like $10. Fill-a-bags are the best. But the only place I get to fill-a-bags are like rummage sales around here, and there weren't any this spring. So I'm really, really missing the fill-a-bags. Daniela, we're going to have to talk to our friend after this. Oh, this is interesting. Is it Hyla or Hilla? Hilla Daily. Cool profile picture. I love that. My Plato's Closet is doing 70% off right now. And they said next they'll do 90%. What state are you in? My Plato's Closet had a new owner. So this time last year, they were doing that really big sale. And it was actually one of my first time sourcing at Plato's Closet. And then I went back. I kept checking back. I think it was after the new year. And I said, when are you doing your 70% sale? Because everybody was posting about it on Instagram. And she's like, oh, we have a new owner and I don't think we're going to do that sale. So I don't really go to Plato's so much anymore, although it's in the same town as a thrift store that I really like here in Massachusetts. So I tend to go to that town for the other thrift store, but I'll stop in Plato's and maybe bring them 10 things and they'll accept one item and give me $4. And then I'll take that $4 and go shop at the other store. Oh, Colorado. Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. I'm in Colorado. They're doing 90% in her state too. Damn, they're not doing that in Massachusetts. Actually, they're not doing anything here because none of the stores are open. I am so jealous. All right. All right. I'm going to do another question here. Somebody asked about my pricing strategy. We already talked about that. We talked about eBay, when I started thrifting. Oh, this is a good one. Posh Party asked, I would like to hear about old inventory. At what point do you decide to donate or take a different route? I thought this would be a good one to chat about. Let me have a sip first. Because, and Heidi's probably going to get anxious about this too, I don't really have a system. So I am kind of like a keep it moving forward kind of person. And I'm a quantity store or a closet. So I tend to leave inventory as long, I don't have a time where I pull it. I know there are people who are extremely systematic. Like I keep things in my closet for 1 month. After 1 month, I offer 10% off. After 6 weeks, I offer 20% off. After 8 weeks, I offer 30% off. If it's still in my closet at 12 weeks, it gets pulled and I send it to the Real or I donate it or I consign it. I couldn't even tell you how long certain things have been in my closet, if I'm being totally honest. I pull things that I literally can't look at anymore. So there are just certain pieces, like I've shared them a million times and I'm like, okay, I just can't look at you anymore. I've put you on sale. I've sent offers out. I've potentially relisted you and then I pull it. I don't pull a lot of things. Like in a year, I might pull 20 items, 20 to 30 items out of 11 to 1200 that I decide to just donate. Funny enough, I think because during quarantine, like May hasn't been a great month for me. How's everybody doing in May? I feel like my sales have really dipped in May, but I've been very bad about listing. I feel like I've been spending more time doing YouTube and stuff, and I haven't been really good about my consistent listing this month. And I think I've been a little bit distracted now that stores have been opening. Like it's messed up my routine a little bit. My quarantine routine is like changing now. So May has been pretty quiet for me. But I tend to leave inventory a while. But what I was going to say is a lot of my old stuff is actually now selling. It's selling for cheap. But if you watch my What's Old videos, if it's a brick background. I had like a brick background for just a few months back in 2018 when I started. It was like October, November of 2018. So whenever you go into my closet, if you want something that has a brick background, the chances that I'll give you a really good deal on it are high. So I've been selling a lot of those. Thank you, Lisette. I can't believe we have 130 people here. That's wonderful. Thank you guys so much for spending your Friday night with me. That means so much to me. And a thumbs up would mean a lot too. Do your kids snag stuff out of your inventory? Just lost a Champion sweatshirt to my 18-year-old. Lori, I have Champion sweatshirts that don't even make it to my closet because my kids steal it first. Usually I give them first dibs. So, and there are certain things that I know Angelina will want, and I will often just ask her. And sometimes it's like she'll take it and then she'll wear it a couple times and then decide she doesn't want it. So then I list it. But fun fact, I had an item, I can't even remember what it was, but I couldn't find it in my inventory. It actually sold and I couldn't find it. And I was going crazy because I knew I had it. I ended up having to cancel the order. And it was in Angie's closet. Like I was going through her closet and it was hung in her closet. And I was so mad, so mad. That only happened once. Okay, what's this? I'll go off on someone. That's so funny. Hi, Danny. Nice to see you here. This is an interesting comment because I had a comment yesterday. I have to say that like 99% of my comments are positive, or they're constructive. So I have zero problem with somebody who disagrees with me if they can like talk to me in a respectful manner. And there was an issue on my most recent What Sold video over a mink coat that I sold. And I had a very passionate person voice her opinion on why I sold it. And honestly, I didn't have a problem with that. But what her question was, what is wrong with you? And that's what I had a problem with. I struggled with that piece because nothing's wrong with me. And in my own way, I feel like reselling fur. Honestly, I felt like I posted something about Trump and Barack Obama, the way that people commented. And I really appreciated the conversation. I posted it on my Instagram last night if you want to check it out, because I really wanted to know what people's opinions were. And the way that I dealt with it, if it's really offensive, I will just delete it. And that seems to work for me. Very rarely have I deleted comments. The one from last night I actually left up there because I thought it was kind of a learning opportunity for me, for other viewers. And it was something I had never encountered before. So I think it's your YouTube channel, so you can deal with it as you wish. Some people, very non-confrontational, they'll delete things right away. They won't admit that it was ever there. They don't want to talk about it. Certain things, like last night's comment, I left up there because I don't know. It didn't offend me so much. I felt like she could have said it nicer, but it didn't really bother me that much. But I did bring it to Instagram because I wanted to get people's feedback because I genuinely wasn't sure what the right answer was. But how I responded to her when she said, "What's wrong with you? This is horrid. I can't believe you would do this." And on and on about how terrible it was for animals. And, I absolutely love my pups. Somebody did make a comment on my Instagram page, which I really appreciated. She was a vegan and she was very anti-mink, but she was super considerate and respectful of the way she delivered her message. And one of the things she said was, some people who think they're animal lovers are actually pet lovers. And I'm like, you're right. I'm probably more of a pet lover than I am an animal lover, but I don't know. She said it in a nice way, and I'm going off on a tangent and really getting off track here. But all I chose to say to her was, thank you for your feedback. I appreciate your feedback. I had started to say, nothing is wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. I would never hurt an animal. This was this was an old mink that I wanted to resell. I'm giving it another, in my opinion, and honestly, how I feel about it is I feel like it's honoring the animal that died in 1940 for that jacket. And I feel like the more lives I can give that coat, for the animals who lost their life for that coat. Would I buy a mink coat today? No. Would I throw paint on a person who's wearing a mink coat? No. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's almost more of a waste to not reuse that. And I didn't know if the issue was me profiting on it, but what I decided was, this is where my husband comes in. He's always like, Lori, less is more. Stop talking. Like, just end the conversation. Don't feed it. Don't. So I just said, thank you for your comment. And that's it. And then I went over to Instagram because I really wanted people who I trusted. I wanted like their feedback. So I'm sure, hey, girl. Hello, Rags to Riches. I'm so glad. Are you at work right now, Hope? Hope and I are collabing on potentially Sunday, I think. I am doing my very first unboxing of a ThredUp box. I've never gotten a ThredUp box in 2 years as a reseller and a year on YouTube. I've never done a ThredUp box. So we both ordered designer purses. Somebody on my YouTube channel gave us the tip that they were available. So we both bought them. So anyways, we will be on, I believe, Sunday. But Hope has to film her video first. And she is a nurse and works more than I do outside of the home. So I want to give her a chance to film her video. Natasha, I know. Like, you know what a lot of people said about the minks? No, I don't want to like beat that comment, that thing. But was this Danny who said that? I'm sorry. A lot of people on my Instagram comments said, well, what about leather? Like, people don't have a problem selling leather belts, leather shoes, leather coats, but they have a problem with fur. And I think that was a really interesting comment. But I think what the answer to like the activists against that would say that the minks are used exclusively for their fur, and leather, maybe they were using the hide for shoes, but then we're using the meat for food, and we're getting more use out of it for nourishment and other things. I think that's what people are saying as a rebuttal to the leather. But a lot of people said, how is it different from selling leather? But anyways, trolls are a thing. I think the good outweighs the bad. I think you will develop thick skin. And I think if you are doing your best on YouTube and being truthful, and I mean, I sleep well at night. I feel like what I put out here is just true to who I am. And, nobody has to stay on my channel if they don't want to. So I really love and appreciate the people who are with me. And yeah, you just speak, you just do you, Danny, and you'll be fine. I encourage you to do it. There's way more good than bad out here, I think. I'm vegan. I have a difficult time deciding reselling any animal fabrics, leather, so still working on it. I appreciate that, Lori. I don't think it's easy. And what a lot of people who feel the way that you feel said to me, they mentioned in the comments, like somebody talked about an Amazon Prime video on, how they torture these animals and slam them in the factory. And I honestly can't even watch it. I can't do it. I don't think I could handle it, to be honest with you. So that begs the question, well, then why would you sell an old mink coat? But anyways, I feel like that could be a discussion for a very long time. But I really do appreciate both sides of the story. And I don't know that I would ever pick up another mink coat after that. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it, I guess. But I still believe that I gave it a second life, and I hope whoever got that coat loves it. Anne Marie, thank you so much. Oh, that's exactly what I'll do. Go to Dunks on me the next time you're thrifting. I didn't go to Dunks today. I hit Honeydew on the way home. That is another local coffee shop we love in Massachusetts. You are so sweet and generous. You don't have to do that. I really appreciate it. I will think of you as I'm sipping my iced coconut latte or whatever I get that day. I've been doing iced coffee. I've been doing iced coconut from Honeydew. Have you tried the matchas at Dunks? They're really good. I like the matchas there too. These many kinds of furs. Yeah, this is I was surprised. I was shocked by the amount of comments. I really appreciate it. I was responding to everybody, and then it got to be so much that I just started liking comments at the end. But everybody's opinion really did matter to me, and it was educational for me. One of the questions I got on Instagram, this is totally in a different direction, but right before I went live, I checked my notifications, and somebody asked something about how to find she used peplum as an example, where do you find types of garments? So anyways, I'm going to read what it says because I'm really botching this question. Catch and Release said, I would like to know unique words that describe things that help make your description better, like those pom-pom frill things or the wavy ruffle. Peplum was my first fashion term. I was so excited to learn, and I want to learn more. I think this is a great question. And I keep saying, you know how occasionally people will post on Instagram like a picture of, 30 different sleeves, and they're like, well, this is a cap sleeve and this is a puff sleeve, and they show all the different parts of the garments. I'm always fascinated, and I keep saying I need to keep an old school 3-ring binder with the little project pages, the little plastic pages I can slip in as a little reference to just flip through pages and see the different parts of a garment and how they would be so helpful for keywords in our descriptions. So I literally, when I got that question, I just Googled garment terms. And then up popped, oh, sorry, I just hit that by accident again. I'm sorry. There's there's apparel terms. It's textile school. There's a fashion clothing glossary, terms you need to know. Literally just Google it. And there were so many terms on here. Anything you need to know about a garment. It talks about like bonded layers, what 50-50 means, acrylic, active fit, mesh, like it literally from A to Z, and it will give you all the information you need. I couldn't begin to talk about that, but if we want to talk a little bit about, yes, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Thank you, Lily. Christina, she used to be Little Black Hanger, right? I think she used to be Little Black Hanger. Now she's her own name. She is the person I was just referencing. She did a YouTube video on different types of shirts. I love Christina. She specializes in vintage. She's very cool. She's high on the cool scale. And she made the transition, I would say a little more recently, where she's really gone niched in on vintage, and it's been really good for her. I think she's fantastic. So yeah, definitely watch her videos. They're very helpful for explaining things like that. I love her. There we go. See, another organized person. I save them on IG in my favorites under a thrift file. Also, Pinterest has some good references. Yes. See, and these are all like the digital versions of how we can utilize, like how we can get this information. But I feel like I want it at my fingertips so that when I am typing, when I'm doing my keywords and descriptions, that it's right there for me. That's a great idea, Danny. Do you know I still don't have highlights on my Instagram account? And like little circles at the bottom that people make look so cute. I haven't done those yet. I just, for the first time yesterday, did playlists on YouTube. I have 108 YouTube videos, and I never created playlists for my viewers. So I did a Goodwill Bins outlet playlist. I did my Thriftless February playlist because there were a few from that. I vlogged like 3 days a week in the month of January. So I have a vlogging playlist. I have a what sold playlist, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I do this for so long and miss some really basic things. So if you want to catch any of my playlists, they're there. I just want to read this. I don't know what it says. I was a buyer for a large department store in the early 2000s. We stopped buying anything with fur or fur trim because of the consumer backlash. I'll look up more time on the return investment. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why I said I probably won't buy it anymore. I just don't know that it's worth it. I can put my energy into something else. And there's so many beautiful faux fur pieces out there now that it's not necessary. But I still believe if it's at a thrift store and an animal has already died, is it better in a landfill? And what some people said was they felt like the minks actually represented the whole industry, and that they shouldn't even be in circulation. That's what like the diehard people thought. I literally Google random descriptive words. If I don't know a specific style of an item, and 9 times out of 10, I can find an item by doing that. Yes, and I do believe, Daniela, and everyone's kind of tuning in on this. Keywords are important. So when you're doing your descriptions on Poshmark, on eBay, it's important when I do titles for my listings on YouTube. If I want people to find my channel and find the topic that I'm doing a video on, it's really important that you do those keywords. And in fact, Daniela actually just recently she's big into her SEO, search engine optimization as well. So even if you don't know the exact fashion term, you can just use adjectives. And Daniela recently did a video on SEO, and her YouTube channel is under her name. So you can search her on there. We're gonna all take a sip. Everybody take a sip. My throat's getting dry. How's everybody doing? We're at 1 hour and 23 minutes. Should we keep going? I don't want to bore anybody here. I'm having fun with everyone. 114 people. Thank you so much for being here. I printed them out on inserted plastic sheet sleeves. See, this is an old school girl, my kind of girl. That's what I want to do. Pinterest. Does anybody use Pinterest? That is a new thing that I've been looking into, being more purposeful, like pinning things with purpose to to try to get people to my different platforms. What's really interesting about Pinterest, this is totally shifting gears, is that Pinterest is a search engine like Google. So the way I found Poshmark was looking for something on Pinterest. So I was searching a brand or a handbag or something, and I kept getting I would click a link and I kept ending up at Poshmark, like on 3 or 4 occasions from Pinterest. This is like probably, I got a Poshmark account in 2016. And I got that account because I was on Pinterest and I was looking for something and it linked me to Poshmark. I had no idea what Poshmark was and it kept happening. So I said, all right, I guess I'll get a Poshmark account so I can look at this item I'm interested in. And then I never used it again until 2018 when I decided to sell on Poshmark. But Pinterest is actually a search engine. So I feel like I want to spend some time. I just recently got a Lori's Boston Found account on Pinterest aside from my personal one. And I just want to use it a little more. You know, we're talking about keywords and search engine optimization. And I think it would be helpful if anybody's looking to grow any of their accounts, whether it's an Etsy account or, you know, get people back to Instagram or YouTube or Poshmark or eBay. I feel like the people who are good at the Pinterest game are gaining some more traffic than those of us who aren't using it. So that's something that I need to look into a bit. Okay, I have to put this up because I didn't even know these existed. I have an ape fur. That was my great aunt's. It's illegal to sell. I found out with old furs, you can also donate them to the local zoo and they can be used for abandoned or orphan animal babies. See, this has been such a lesson. An ape fur. That is crazy. I don't know why that's so weird to me. I have never heard of an ape fur. See, so that's another option. So Jennifer, thank you for sharing that. In fact, somebody did comment on my Instagram last night. They said that, you know, the thought of fur makes their skin crawl. They would never have fur in their house, and that they have picked up fur and donated them to local shelters for babies, like little animals to like snuggle with. So the zoo is another option. So yeah, thank you for that. That's a good option for a place to bring fur. Okay. I use Pinterest. Leslie Resells Passion just had a podcast. Yes, she is. Leslie is really big into Pinterest. So I am definitely, that's on one of my 1,000 thing to-do list. But I do want to spend some time on Pinterest and just start being more intentional about it. So as a reference, every single time I do a listing on Poshmark and it says, you know how you have the option to share to Facebook and share to Pinterest? I always unclick Facebook and I always share to Pinterest. So I probably have 1,100 things on Pinterest, but it's on my personal account because my thought was, well, I don't want to flood my Facebook with pictures from Poshmark that my family and friends are going to see. It just wasn't the platform at the time. Now I have a business account on Facebook. But up until about 2 months ago, I only had my Lori Tatum, my family one. So anyways, I would always click to Pinterest, but I never, I just clicked everything and it wasn't aesthetically pretty or anything like that. So I just put everything on there. So I don't know how much traffic I get to my Poshmark closet from Pinterest, but like 95 to 98% of all of my items I did share to Pinterest. Does anybody else share to Pinterest when they do a Poshmark listing? I'm curious. There's a lot of talk about about SEO. I post my Poshmark to Pinterest. Google loves Pinterest. See, I don't, again, I'm kind of late to the party on a lot of things, but I'm definitely going to be giving a lot more information, a lot more time to Pinterest. Hey, oh, that's good to know, Daniela. Daniela shares our podcast to Pinterest. See, she's good at that stuff. That's fantastic. Okay. I'm trying to see if I have any other questions here. I have a board just for my closet. That's great, Amy. Yeah, a lot of Pinterest people too. Hello, Babette. How are you? Danny shares to Pinterest. Okay. Yeah. I do that. But now what's interesting is everything that I share from Poshmark goes to my personal Pinterest account. And now I started a Lori's Boston Found Pinterest account. So I think I need to like reroute that somehow. At this point, it's so far gone on my personal account. There's so much over there. Yes, always and never on Facebook for the same reason. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Like I just automatically unclick Facebook and then I send it off to Pinterest. So that's pretty interesting. Um, let me see. Do we want to talk about this question was how has quarantine changed your life in terms of business? And I think it has been interesting. I feel like quarantine has been like such a well-covered territory. Like I feel like all of us on YouTube have talked so much about quarantine that people are probably sick of it. But I think it's kind of interesting now being on the other side of not quite. I mean, a lot of us, Massachusetts, our stores still aren't opening, but things are starting to lighten up. And I think it's really interesting. I know so many people are doing like porch pickups. I know Daniela's doing that. They signed up with Next Door. People are really branching out to get inventory from friends. I know Courtney at Common Tags, her aunt sent her inventory. And I think it's like even like the next level of recycling that we've all encountered during quarantine. It was kind of like the waste not, want not. Like I think there's the layer of things that you say, oh, well, I'm going to shop from my house. And then you're in quarantine and you're like, all right, there's got to be more. And then you just dig a little deeper. And I think that's what everybody did during quarantine is we all dug in a little more and we got more resourceful and we reached out to more people. And it's really been great. I mean, what I did during quarantine was I cleaned out my own personal closet and it was emotional. It was exhausting. It was something I've been putting off for years. When I started, people who know my journey know that when I started on Poshmark and I started reselling in 2018, that part of reselling, I like went to TJ Maxx and Savers and just started shopping. I didn't even touch my closet, didn't touch it. And I'm a shopper. So I had so many things in my own private closet. And it wasn't until quarantine that I finally said, I'm going to do the Marie Kondo method and I am going to source from my closet. So that was a really eye-opening thing for me, and I've been able to maintain it. I don't miss the clothes that I got rid of. In fact, it kind of spurred this like minimalist part of me that I don't know very well, where I'm just always trying to get rid of stuff. So that's been one of the big changes for me for quarantine. And I've also noticed about myself that I feel like I'm a lot more patient now. I used to really Jones, like wake up and be like, okay, I need to get everything done so I can thrift, and thrift some more, which is why I ended up with big death piles. And I've lost that a little bit. As much as I still love to thrift, I think post quarantine, I'm more patient and I'm more intentional about what I'm listing. I'm pickier about what I'm listing. So that's been really interesting. I want to see in the comments how people have dealt with like post quarantine or things that have changed for you. I'm curious. I see we're still talking a lot. Oh gosh, yes. I noticed. So Hope is a great friend and fellow YouTuber and also a great customer. And I noticed your most recent video, you're wearing your Lululemon sweatshirt that you bought for me again. I think I've seen it in 2 videos. I'm so happy you bought that one and not the other one because that one is so cozy. Yeah, and it looks great on you. It looks better on you than it looked on me. I love it. Where are we? You know what's fun? Go back and look at the first 50 things you bought. Like the first 50 things I bought or listed on Poshmark. I think just looking at either way would be fascinating to see. Oh, you mean like the first 50 things I bought to sell. I got you. Yes, absolutely. It's amazing how things change, isn't it? And I think that's one of the things I love about what we do is the styles are always changing. I feel like you never get bored doing this. Like the second you think you know what's in and what's going to sell for a lot of money, like the fashion changes like by the day. And you're just always looking at ways to keep up. And yes, I did. So those are a lot of the things with that brick background that I was mentioning. Those are things that I went to Savers and I'm like, oh, this is so cute. And, you know, sometimes I still buy for style. It's not always about brand for me, but if it has to be more than just style, it has to be fabric content. It has to be like, you know, quality of the piece and all that stuff. But yeah, to go back and look at our first 50 buys for reselling would be a really fun game. Excuse me. Oh boy. Hold up. Ah, God. Trying to. Okay. Daniela, I don't know if you can hop on that and moderate a little bit. Okay. I'm purging my home because we will be moving to Austin in the near future and Facebook Market is hot. I'm doing PayPal only with porch pickup, once paid, no contact. All my craft room stuff is done well. That's really great. That's fantastic. Porch pickups are a big thing right now. And do they just leave the money under the like the doormat or something like that? That's great. Craft room stuff has done well. I have really been wanting to look into selling all of my creative memory stuff. And I know it still has some value. I think the craft stuff is something that people spend a lot of money on crafts. So I think it's great that you're selling your craft room stuff. Does anybody else use Facebook Marketplace? That's been a really good thing. I'm seeing a lot with Facebook Marketplace. Thank you, Daniela. Been crazy sharing what I've had here for so long. Yeah. Jeez. What do we have here? Oh, I'll see the sweatshirt in 4 videos because you filmed them all the same. Okay, that fascinates me when people film things back to back to back. I did it once recently. I filmed a YouTube one and then I filmed one other one back to back. But then the editing takes me so long. Okay. Facebook Market. All right, I think we're going to take a few more questions and I think we'll wrap things up at 1:45. So that's like in a little less than 10 minutes. So I want to get through all of the questions. I just want to look on Instagram and see if I missed any questions. I got the old inventory. Pricing strategy. I think we covered most of it. What is, I want to know, there was some conversation in Quenby's about states that were open. Do we have, you know what? I want Rags to Riches to weigh in on this one, Hope. Could you tell us, hon, how are things at the hospital? Like with cases, are you seeing a lot less? Are you feeling like we're going in the right direction? Like what is your state situation? Because you're in Indiana right now. Are your stores open? I think your store's definitely open because you've been doing a lot of hauls. What did I miss? I'm curious. I just heard about this. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. So is Walmart selling, somebody has to catch me up on this, on Walmart and ThredUp. What is going on with that collaboration? I wish I could speak to it. I'm not even sure. Walmart, ThredUp. Let's just see real quick. Walmart partners with ThredUp to enter popular fashion resale market. Crazy. This was just came out on May 27th. Over the last few years, we focused on expanding assortment of quality. Thrilled to announce that we'll be offering even more fantastic brands with our entry into the popular fashion resale market through our online partnership with ThredUp. Yeah, so you can go to www.walmart/ThredUp and see. I don't even understand it though. So people are going to go on to the Walmart website and be able to buy things on ThredUp. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to get into the reselling game. And I feel like all of our businesses, I just think that we all have to be on our toes and really never relax, because I think things are always changing. And I think as some of the big store brands, I mean, nothing's bigger than Walmart, get into this game, it's going to make things really interesting. And I talked about this a little bit in a video that I did on bundle sales. And I think that one of the things that we can always offer our customers is communication and customer service. And I feel like as a lot of these big businesses get into the reselling game, it's going to change our landscape a little bit in how we deal with everything. And I really feel like the customer service on our end is just going to have to be phenomenal to compete. But I don't know. I don't know what my thoughts are. Has anybody looked into it at all, the Walmart thing? Walmart's tough. I struggle with Walmart. Danielle is saying that they're moving into phase 2 on Monday. What did Hope say? We're on the decline with cases and patients. We have 12 currently, which is way less than before, and we are in phase 2. 12 doesn't sound like a lot. That's actually good to hear. This is a good question, Caitlin. Thank you. Random question here. When you're selling something on eBay, do you delete the item on Poshmark or mark it as not for sale? So my strategy, this just happened with those Peloton Lululemon shorts that I sold. I listed them both on Poshmark and on eBay. They sold on eBay. And I kept the listing. I didn't even mark it not for sale. I guess I would typically mark it not for sale. The reason I didn't was because they paid really quickly until the person on eBay pays for it. Because sometimes on eBay, an item will sell, but then the customer never pays for it, or they don't pay for it for a few days. So I'll leave it open on Poshmark until it's actually paid for. And then I'll just delete it on Poshmark. I just feel like deleting it is just cleaner for me. There's no room for confusion. Once it's gone, it's gone. I guess you run the risk of that item being returned and then having to do the listing all over again on Poshmark. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that once you do delete an item from Poshmark, you can't go back and retrieve it and use the copy feature. Like once it's gone, it's gone. So if it makes you feel better to keep it on not for sale for a little bit, I know I've had friends like when they put things over, when they send things to ThreadUp or to the RealReal, they'll put things on not for sale if they've already done a listing for it on Poshmark, should it come back. That's a really good question, though. I'm curious to see what people do. I have creative memory stuff too to sell, trying to decide the best pack. I know those 12 by 12 albums are a pain. Yes, they're very hard. I find the pages, I don't know if people know creative memories, but they're scrapbooks, and the page protectors go for a lot of money. If you have page protectors, sell those. Wisconsin, Wild West. Yeah, Daniela deletes them. Bye, Hope. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping in. We love you too. Okay, so Floppy Bob, I keep things not for sale because it shows a buyer the things or style of your closet. That's a good strategy, and then they can kind of see. So would you keep those items below? Here's a question. Do most of you keep your sold items mixed in with your current listings? I always put my my sold listings every day that I update and share my closet. I skip over my sold listings when I'm sharing so that all my sold listings go to the bottom. And I think that's pretty common. But then sometimes I wonder if that's the right thing to do, because I think sometimes when I'm scrolling through someone's closet and I see a lot of like sold, I'm like, wow, this person's closet is hopping, and I better get this before it sells. There's a little bit of that I feel when I look through people's, but I always put my solds at the bottom. Solds are at the bottom. I don't share solds. Nope, separate at the bottom. Okay, I think a lot of us are in agreement on this, Lindsay. I always mark my items not for sale on Posh when it sells elsewhere for 2 reasons. I can always relist if the sale falls through. That's the point I just mentioned. And I like to see my Posh listings count continue to grow. That's true. That's a good idea. If you are somebody who's trying to grow your closet and get to like a number over, that isn't an issue so much for me, but there was definitely a time where I'm like, I can't wait to be at 500, and like every single listing I did really mattered to me, and I wanted like credit for all of those listings. So I can appreciate that strategy. I like that. Move them to the bottom. Yeah, okay. Daniela, I think we got one more here. At the bottom, sold's at the bottom for me too. Okay. All right, that was a good question. How are people doing with listing? I didn't really hear from, did I miss in the chat? I might have been chatting, but do people, are people's sales, how are people's sales right now in the month of May? I feel like things have slowed down a bit for me. Oh, before you answer that, I'm so excited. I know a lot of you have been following me and my, like how sad I am. I have a daughter who's a senior. She got a graduation date today. They're going to have a live graduation. Governor Baker of Massachusetts said that any graduations after July 17th can be in person. So our district is going to have a live graduation for the kids, and it's going to be July 25th at the high school. And we just got word today. And I was so excited. Yay. I was so happy. I meant to share that earlier. I was just so thrilled for that. But the reason that came to mind is because I feel like my focus has been shifting a little bit. I've been like doing a little bit more involvement in just like kind of shifting my focus a little to the kids again. Not that I've been ignoring them, not too much, but I have been like feeling like, I don't know, I'm gearing up for that. We still have some time. I mark it not for sale. Sold at the bottom. Sorry, Caitlin, I've had you up there for a very long time. All right. Oh, I like this strategy. I keep them mixed for a few days and then drop them to the bottom. See, I like that too, Lisette, because then, you know, that kind of gives the, like what I was talking about earlier, you'll be able to see, you get to see the things that are selling in your closet. And I feel like sometimes that adds a little bit of sense of urgency. Here's a question for you. I actually had several closet consults in the month of May. I ran a promotion through my website for $25 closet consults, and I'm already past my $145. If people need to go, I totally understand. But thank you for being here for so long. And I promise we're going to wrap up soon. But what was I going to say? We were talking about, I totally just lost it. Wait a second. I'm going to go this question until I remember what I was going to say. Oh, thank you. Wait a second. What printer do you use for Posh and eBay? Do you have a printer that prints both? That prints both. Do you mean like format wise, Anne-Marie? I use a foam memo printer. So for a while I used a Dymo printer, and then I just found my Dymo to be a little quirky. It would go offline a lot for me, and it was on a roll, and I would have to like, it would spit out a lot at once, and I'd have to re-roll it, and I just didn't love it as much. And then I partnered with Foam Memo, which is a printer company, and I just their setup is more like a Rolo. So the stack of printer paper is in the back, and it is formatted that I can print for eBay and for Poshmark. So when I had my Dymo, I couldn't get it to format. I think this is what you're asking. I couldn't get it to format so that it printed out the same size for both. I always struggled with my eBay labels, and I would end up like doing like a quarter of a page and like printing it on my real printer, and then like putting packing tape over it. So with the Foam Memo, I don't have any issues with the formatting. Once you get your formatting in, it prints for both. So when I print from Pirate Ship, I don't have to format. When I print from eBay or Poshmark, it works for all three platforms, which is pretty exciting. I had to format it once. I think the measurements are like 150 by 30. But like once I got the right measurements, it applies to all three. I hope that answers your question. And what's this one? Okay. May was a bit sluggish, but I didn't list as much. I feel that way too. I think the nice weather and the fact that like we're able to get outside, and just people in the country finally being able to go out, I think their mindset is shifting a little bit. One $1,800 week in May, and the rest of the month has been crickets. That's a really good week though. That's a good week. Wonderful. The Dymo 4XL does do both, Heidi. Yeah, I think it's probably my fault that I couldn't format it properly. I just struggled with it. A thermal, like the Dymo. Yeah. Yep, it prints for both. Yes, Haley, I did do closet consulting. And I was talking about that. I totally forgot what I was going to say about it. It was something, it was like a question that kept coming up with people, and I just wanted to address it. And now it's like totally gone out of my brain. This is what happens when you're born in 1973. You forget what you were going to say when you're 46, if I remember it. But yes, I do closet consults. I had a promotion in the month of May because it was my first time doing it. And I had just launched my website where I would meet. So I would do a thorough closet review of your closet. On my own time. And then I send you a questionnaire and you fill out questions like what your goals are for your business, like what your ideal number of items in your closet is, like what your roadblocks are, all these kind of questions. Like if your closet is curated, do you want it to be curated? I ask a lot of questions to try to get an idea of your goals for your business. And then we schedule a Zoom call and we talk for 30 minutes, but it really always ends up being much more than that. So I offered a promotion in the month of May. So I did 17 consults in the month of May, everything filled. And now I'm starting to go into June, but the price has gone up a little bit to $40 in the month of June, but also my time. Instead of doing the 30 minutes, I'm just committing to the 45-minute consult. And then I do some homework on my own before we meet. And it's been really great. I'm meeting with Lisette this week. And yeah, it's been so fascinating for me to get to know people who like I see on YouTube or I see comments from, but I've never had like the face-to-face time with them. So I've learned so much from people, and it's just been, I've had some really, really interesting people. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. So yeah, if you're interested, you can go to my website, lori'sbostonfound.com, and you can go to the closet consult section, and there's a place where you can like sign up for a session. So eventually the price will go to $50 an hour, and it's strictly because of the time constraint that it involves. But right now it's $40, and yeah, it was a really fun month talking to people. I absolutely loved it. Yes, thank you for trying to help me remember what I was going to say. We were talking about the number of listings, and then you mentioned consult. Yep, it's gone. It's gone, Heidi. It's so funny because it's beautiful out there. I love the city now, but I want to be out hill country. Did I miss something about the $25? I know you're all trying to help me. I'm so sorry. What the heck was it? I was so excited too, right? And now it's just gone. As soon as we disconnect, I'm going to remember. I know that's going to happen. We were talking about the $25, the consult. I want to say it was like something that kept coming up with people, or what people were asking me. It was like it was something that was really obvious too, like a question that kept coming up with everybody. And I just can't remember. Anne-Marie, if you trust me to talk about eBay, that would have to be a $25 consult instead of a $40. I mean, I think I could help with the beginning stuff of eBay. I would be, you can message me. We can talk about eBay, but what I would want to do is know what your specific questions were for eBay and make sure that I did research so that you got some value in the consult, because I wouldn't want to do any high level eBay consultations, because I just feel like there are people who are better suited for that than me. But certainly I can talk about the basics on eBay. Absolutely. Yes, message me. What is... This is a controversial question, Cheryl. So who here, does anybody here use a bot for Poshmark? Such a dirty word on Poshmark, isn't it? Yes, Lily, senior moment, 100%. So I feel like I am extremely naive, because apparently a lot of people use bots, and I did not. So recently I started using a virtual assistant, is like the PC term. And it's been okay. It's a huge time saver. It costs a little bit of money per month, but my dad, who shares my closet, has been injured, and he's having some surgery in the upcoming week, and it's just not been a good time for him. And so I started sharing my 1,200 items, and I was like falling behind, and my sales were falling behind, and I was getting really discouraged because I had so many. And so a friend reached out. No, and they are. Yes, they are against, what are these? No bot, but I hire a VA for me, mainly because I despise sharing. I am really hoping that this is going to be one of the things that maybe Poshmark will address. Like they did the copy feature, which has been so amazing and such a time saver for so many of us. And I would really love to see some progress in the sharing category, because I don't think, I don't know, you can't have a robot do it. It doesn't require any brain function. And like, it would just be so nice to be spending that time talking to our customers, or like updating our listings, improving our pictures, improving whatever we need to improve for our business. It's such a time sucker. So it's a tough thing, but robots are prohibited on Poshmark. So, yeah, I'm with you, Danny. Like I had no idea that they were so widespread. But yes. So VAs are virtual assistants, in case anybody's wondering, and bots are two different things. So a virtual assistant is supposed to be a real person who you pay to share your closet or do anything. Maybe you pay a virtual assistant to, and by virtual, it just means like they're not in your office space. They're somewhere else in the country, somewhere else in the world, and you pay them to share for you. You pay them to do drafts for you. Some people pay VAs to do listings for a variety of things. And a bot is like an actual program that automatically shares your closet for you. So the controversy that I have heard secondhand, so this is like rumor mill stuff, but the controversy is that there are people who claim they are a VA service, and they charge people a premium price to share their closet, but they're actually using bots. That's the rumor mill. I don't know if that's true. So that's nothing that I would confirm, but there's a rumor out there that people who charge you for a virtual assistant service are actually using bots and not even doing the work themselves. Like instead of having a live person there clicking and sharing your closet for you, it's a program. They press play and they walk away from it, and then they charge you a lot more money. So I don't know anything about that except for the rumors that I've heard. So, oh, thank you, Lori. First time watching, but I followed you for a while. Yes, it's very late. I can't believe it stays so late out there. When I did my live with Denali, I could not believe how much light she had later on. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me, Lori. Good night. All right, we should probably wrap things up. I want to make sure that I caught everyone. This has been so wonderful. I was a little nervous to carry this on my own tonight, but I'm so thankful for the people who participated in the chat. You guys are the best. I appreciate you being here tonight. And if you want to leave your closet names below, or if anybody has like an Instagram page they want to be followed on. I love that you guys all communicate in the chat. If you want to leave your information, and then people can follow you on different platforms. Yes, it is late. It is late, 11 o'clock. Adele, thank you for joining us from California. I appreciate you. It's been so nice. I saw a lot of new faces tonight, so it was so wonderful. So everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me. Feel free to message me if you have any questions after the broadcast. And I try to do lives every other Friday, but I haven't really committed to them wholeheartedly. But I usually tell you that week if I decide that I'm going to do one. So potentially we'll have one here in 2 weeks. I may or may not have a guest. And that's all. I do release videos on my YouTube channel every Wednesday and every Sunday. My Wednesday one was what sold video and items that sold for over $100. And this Sunday, I think, is going to be my unboxing of my Thread Up box. And we will go from there. Hopefully some hauls are to follow. I should probably do a haul of the things that I got today. But thank you, everybody. It was so great to spend my Friday night with you. Enjoy, everybody. I will talk to you soon. And if you joined late, you can watch this on the reruns. I'm going to go upload it to YouTube. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Bye.